kidding me? This is Sideways Talk with Riff Johnson. Go get him, Mr. Riff.
I'm falling sideways under your days.
And we're back. Sideways Talk with Riff Johnson. And I'm excited, folks, because not only because today is actually Paige's birthday. I'm doing work on
Happy
her
birthday, Paige!
Yes, thank you. But people don't know who you are yet. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone should know who my friend Trisha Mason is. Trisha Mason is here from Maine, surviving the cold. She turned off the heater so it wouldn't make noise.
It's loud. It's like a dragon.
It's like, that's kind of cool, though. That's a rock star status. Trisha and her dragons. So Trisha Mason's here, and you were in close to Ellsworth? Not quite Ellsworth, though. Maine?
I'm mid-coast Maine nowadays.
Mid-coast, okay.
Yeah.
Mid-coast. So it's a bit of a mystery. She's a mystery woman, which is okay. Please don't stalk her. She's my friend. We'll find you if you do. We won't.
Thank you. Thanks for having my back, man.
Yeah. So I'm so glad. So glad we're going to explain a little bit about how I know Trisha Mason, how she knows me, in a little bit here. I guess the way I like to start these out. Quick question: what's an approximate temperature check there? Because it's not very warm here.
Oh God, an approximate temperature check?
I'll
Are
make
you
it
kidding?
exact.
I wasn't even prepared for this.
I know, that's the best part. It's the best time.
It's I went outside yesterday.
Okay.
I'm kind of like airing out a cold, so I went for a walk yesterday.
Yep.
And I think we got like in the 30s, like it's a little chilly.
But for early February, that's not too bad. It's not 20 below.
I know, it does make you feel like here comes global warming a little bit.
Yeah. Here it's 52 right now.
All right.
So it's like
That's just.
but this is Alabama. But I mean, this is down south. This is almost the Florida line right where I am now, which is unusually cold for now. But it's not. It's not.
Alabama.
From swinging Alabama.
Alabama, Arkansas, under 4 mile house. I'm jealous.
I'm glad.
Super nice.
What's that? You jealous? What?
I'm jealous of your warmer weather.
We gotta get you to come out to visit sometime. We gotta plan that for real.
Right. I might. Maybe February vacation. Where'd Mama go?
Where'd Mama go? They're all right. They're tough kids.
They'll come too. They'll come visit you.
Wolfman Jack will. That's an inside joke.
I don't see Wolfman Jack all too much.
You look for him. That's the thing. People will be like, "What the hell's going on?" Anyway, let's explain who Trisha Mason is, and we'll talk a little bit about how we met. I honestly don't know, and you might remember how we met, but we'll do that after. So I'll just say Trisha Mason is my friend. She's a musician. She's a singer, multi-instrument player, songwriter. Very interesting, not in a bad way. Very, very entertaining, very fun. I remember the first time I saw her band in Bar Harbor, Maine, and it was just like so interesting. So people play covers, and of course she plays originals and covers, but her covers, you might not know what it is. It's fun. She does it her own way, her own unique style. And then all of a sudden, it's coming in. I'm like, oh, I know what this song is. In a great way, in the best way possible. Not to say she's sitting there out of key. But she literally puts things in her own style. Very creative, funky, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. If you ever get a chance to see Trisha Mason band, is it a changing band name these days? Or is it Trisha Mason?
Oh, it's pretty, well, I made the move to like mid-coast Maine.
Okay.
And there's different people down this area. Like I started playing with one group. We call ourselves the Sirens,
Good.
which is a lot of fun. Only because the mermaids were taken. But and then there's still the Trisha Mason band. It'll be forever. Just in different conglomerations. A couple of the guys they kind of asked for. They had been with me for quite a few years, so they were.
Yep.
Feeling it, and one needed an eye surgery and complaining about driving. I'm like, well, I don't want to be, at fault here.
Yeah. At fault. Good.
But yeah, down this way, I've found a group, and we still kind of go with the Trisha Mason band, and
Yeah.
that's my name. That's kind of what I've branded and accidentally, if not on purpose. But I do envy sometimes people that are really like, "We're the all stars," you know. I'm like, "Who are they?" You know. Whereas it's like, "Oh, there's Trisha Mason, and there's Trisha Mason," and you know, there's a little bit more of a direct link when you use your name.
Yes. Yep. I
That's
agree. My name's not even real, so you know. You're brave. You're braver than me.
I'm so jealous. Riff Johnson. I could have been Riff Mason.
Riff Mason. It's like we're related or married. Riff Mason.
The same person.
We're the same person. You know how many Riff Johnson fake accounts there are? I don't know if you've run into any, but they're everywhere.
Interesting.
It's stupid, and they won't, and they don't necessarily get rid of them on Facebook. Like friends will report them, and they say we've reviewed your report, and we don't find this violating Facebook's. I'm like, but I can say K dash dash nap, as in to steal someone, and I get nailed. Actually, you know what? We're on YouTube, so I could say kidnap. But literally, I wrote that the other day on someone. I'm going to kidnap Jose and Charity and bring them to wherever. And Facebook's like, oh, this violates our community. I say, yeah, but someone's seeing their Riff
really?
Johnson with my pictures. Oh wait, I should show you this one. This isn't even online yet. I reported this one today. You're going to love this. Sorry, we're getting a little off topic, but this is literally the latest Riff Johnson. Riff Johnson, Maine. Riff Johnson, Maine, and this is the picture.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
That's the new fake account that's trying to get a hold of people. What?
What are you doing there, Riff?
I don't know. But
So
I'm gonna
it's
post
trying to
that.
get a hold of people, like people
Yep.
that you know,
Hey,
and
how long have you been my fan, or whatever you? That's typically what they do, and
Really?
I guess eventually they try to get them to send money or something. I don't know. Most people just see it, and they'll either report it or they'll say, "Is this you?" And I say,
Right.
"No, that's definitely
That's
not me."
terrifying.
It's
That's like somebody
bizarre.
buying your tickets and then selling them for a higher price. Kind of.
Kind of.
Not really.
Nah, it's all
But
right.
still.
Hey,
It's
by the
not-
way, we're not deleting this. Anything foolish that anyone says this is on record for life.
Oh, God. Oh, goody, goody gumdrops.
Okay, so Trisha Mason, basically tell the viewers here who you are, what you do, and I mean we kind of already touched on it, and that. Go until you're tired. I'm just gonna drink this coffee.
All right. Who I am, what I do. So my name's Trisha Mason. I'm a singer-songwriter in the main music scene world. I've been roughly playing music out since about 2009. I got stationed up this way, military, with my ex. God, see, I always bring up shit I don't want to talk about.
That's
But
all right. It's how you're here.
oh, and I said shit.
You
I'm really
can't.
bad
This
at this.
this is fucking YouTube. It's okay actually. I'm not gonna swear that much, but you know sometimes.
I appreciate you so much. But yeah, main music scene was warm and welcoming and very encouraging. I went from knowing, you know, pretty much my own little bubble of Jewel and maybe some Brandy Carlisle to can you play the Ramones and all sorts of different names and different bands that I played with and started and
Yep.
just kind of get obsessed with it, finding community, finding fun. Music's always been just a major outlet. Nowadays, I've kind of wormed my way into the medical field because it's really good for me to have a day job as a mother.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm still working on recording CDs. I'm trying to get back into the studio, start work on the third one. And I work in the school system currently as a CNA, and it's probably like brings me more joy than anything else. I think it's pretty powerful when you work a day job that you equally love almost as much as anything else. So
Yep.
yeah, so that 2 CDs my name currently, and just a whole lot of creativity constantly. I'm teaching music lessons, and
Good.
I was initially super nervous to try. Have you taught music lessons yet? You do.
I've done it for a while. I don't do much anymore. I have like one or two that are.
You're
here
like
and
on the
there.
road constantly.
I don't have time. It's crazy,
That's so cool. Good for you.
but I do love it. I love it more now. But anyway,
I'm loving it so much, and a lot of
Yeah.
it, the people that are gravitating are these younger girls, you know. And here they are, they're 12, 13, that kind of bubble of when I started my singer-songwriter creativity, and I feel like that's it's just so exciting to be like, oh my God, sky's the limits, you know? So I feel like I bring that kind of enthusiasm to
Good.
pretty much anybody who's willing to sit and listen to it.
You know, you might not think about this, but those girls, you might be like Alanis Morissette to them. You know what I mean? Like, this is Trisha Mason. I mean, I don't know how much they know you outside of, you know what I mean? Like we don't think about it because we're who we are and we do what we do. We've been doing it for a long time. But some people look at people in the music scene like, wow, this person's like, it's like celebrity music lessons. We should pay her more, or maybe not. But I don't know. But
I
you know,
think some don't necessarily realize, and
okay,
I don't mean to say like who is she? You know,
yeah,
I mean she's a young singer-songwriter and she
hmm,
knows how to teach bass lessons and vocal lessons and those different things. But I think maybe someday if they were to Google, be like, oh, like it's Trisha Mason girls all over the place, you know, like maybe then, you know. But
maybe.
until that moment, they're probably more like, oh, she seems cool. She reminds me of my mom. I get that
Oh,
a lot.
that could be.
I'm like, I'm like, your mom's cool.
I literally have girls come up to me at bars and say, oh, my mom loves you. Can we take a picture and send it to her? I'm like, yeah, I probably love her. I don't know. Who is she?
Sure.
It's so funny.
That
My
sounds
mom
fun.
loves you. That's the level I'm at now. So now I have to get out
Yeah.
of Maine. I had to get out of Maine so people's moms don't know
Get
me.
too many moms chasing you around.
Moms
Where's
everywhere.
that Riff Johnson? Good God.
Um,
Um,
but now that's cool. That's great that you love that. So you're doing music and you're playing music. You're creating music.
yep.
And working a job, being a mom. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Exhausting
It's
sometimes. And I'm
exhausting.
currently getting over a cold, so like
Yes, my
that's the
gosh.
cherry on top.
Let's add that. Does anything ache? Do you have like an ankle that hurts or anything? What can we add to the list? I cut my finger.
Life is actually really, really good.
That's
So
good. That's good
yeah.
to hear that. That's awesome. So I'm sure, I know a lot of musicians that have a family life. That's one thing that I don't really have to deal with. I don't have kids. I love to wind up other people's kids and leave them. Like, have some sugar. Here you go, Ma. So that's a part of my life that I don't have to deal with, which is a whole nother level. Probably couldn't do what I do right now. I think pretty impossible if I
You know,
had that.
there was a time in my life where I thought I was like a younger mom. It
Hmm.
was, you know, initially not necessarily a planned thing, but for me, it was a responsibility that I was excited to take and a route that brought me this underlying level of joy that I've been so overwhelmingly like appreciative to have like these two children in my life. Um, and I still see like being like maybe a little bit of a younger mom where like, well, I could still, you know, they're driving almost. I can get on the road. I could say, hey, you know, cover dinner, you'll be
Yeah.
okay. You know, that window isn't, I felt like when I chose to be a mom, like I felt like I lost
Hmm.
that potential opportunity.
Yep.
And I'm realizing that I really didn't. If anything, it's grounded me, it's given me more time to build up a repertoire musically, social platforms, and just kind of like my own little like root system that when I do kind of branch off into potentially someday, hopefully a tour, a little one,
Yeah.
um, where it's like it's not still not impossible to do, you know. Like granted, it's not like maybe the Taylor Swift lifestyle of starting when you're 14 and then just on the go and get up your
Right.
life and move and now you're in Nashville and all these opportunities, you know.
Yep.
But it's like I see where I could potentially put in almost just as much time and effort to get to a point
Yeah.
feeling like, did I miss that area? No, I feel like I
Yep.
have cultivated it differently. And because of that, it's just as rewarding.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I think three things. I think there's something to be said for people that do it more later in life, or pursue things a little later. I think a lot of times, I'm not saying Taylor Swift, but these younger people that get notoriety and get famous or get whatever earlier on in their career, that's like a hard thing for a young person. And so how they develop kind of might depend on choices that they make as a young person. I think when you get a little bit grown up, and I'm to the point now, I'm like myself, it's like I really don't care about alcohol and different things, and it's like, it's like I
Hmm.
don't think those things in front of me would make me gravitate. I think if I was on a bigger platform than I am now, I think I just have a blast. I think I wouldn't have to worry about too many people being in my business, and I can control what I want right now.
Okay.
But then again, I wouldn't mind having help from a bigger entity to help push things
Right.
along and get
But
more
it,
exposure.
I hear what you're saying, also, and it made me wonder too. How does
Hmm.
somebody like, I mean, look at Portico Swift. She's trying to date
Yeah.
somebody now, and I love her. Like,
Hmm.
I love her songwriting. I
Hmm.
love her like vibe and energy, and just her cat.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and I feel like she's so in the spotlight. I mean, she can't like walk down. And a lot of people are like that. Like when it
Hmm.
comes to
Yeah.
fame and stuff, you can't walk down the street without five different people, knowing who
Yeah.
you are or whatnot. Whereas,
Yep.
for me now, it's like just making a move. It's like I walk in a Walmart, nobody knows me, and I feel like, whew,
I,
freedom,
I got away. I got out of it.
But but yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
like I'm really thankful not to have that amount of intrusiveness,
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I
Hmm.
feel like, all right, well, if it was, I feel like I could handle it better than maybe somebody like at her age that was, how do poor thing, she try to have a relationship, writes a song about it, and everybody's like, "Hey, you make a song,"
That was me earlier. Yeah, that's a good impression. I'm just joking. And the other two things, my friend Amanda that I had on a podcast, Western Mass, she's about my age, and she was in music a little bit before, and she took the whole time to raise her kids, and now she's just now kind of going for it again. She's doing great. She's got a country band, new country band starting out, and she went from literally doing tracks in the backing track singing, and she sounds great,
Mhm.
to being in a live band. She's making these steps. It's really nice to see her just not really knowing exactly what to do, but she's trying it and she's jumping into
Yeah.
it later on in life, which is great. The third thing is that you always ask me things about, like, what do you know about this, or what do you do, how do you do this? So that interest in wanting to do more things and learn new things, I think that's the biggest thing. Learn how to do it.
Mm.
Whether it's a layout of your website, or anything like what's this new platform, or what's Patreon, what's this, and just having that interest, and then as I've seen you implement things and do what you're doing, it's awesome. Just keep doing things like that. Just keep learning, always do things, and whatever. What if this part-time thing became a full-time thing? Who knows?
Mm.
And if it doesn't, at least you're doing things you love.
Right.
There you go.
That's huge.
Those are my thoughts.
I feel. There was I read this book. It was on the actual name of it would be nice, but it had to do with being an artist. And one of the things it talked about was, as an artist, working in the school system is one of the best things that you can do for your like creativity and
Oh.
opportunities and stuff, because you have like summers. So I felt like, oh, quick, check that one off. But the other thing it said was to always have a little bit something saved. So if that opportunity does arise, you
Mhm.
have money to buy that plane ticket and go for it. Why not? You know, that was a good book. But that's the other thing too. I've spent a lot of time just kind of figuring out, what's out there. What are those opportunities? What's
Yeah.
the business side of it?
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is like I'm building up more confidence playing solo. I've always been
Yeah.
kind of accompanied by a band, and just kind of feeling like, yeah, it's so freeing to actually, instead of fill up all the time with music,
Hmm.
I'm filling it up with actually speaking.
Hmm.
That was something I had such a hard time with, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm deviating here a little bit,
No, not at
but
all.
just kind of working on refining those skills.
Yep.
I just watched something on Netflix, and the manager or potential manager was like, "You're not ready,"
Hmm.
and it's like that thought of like, would I have been ready, and I wouldn't have been ready as a young mom that had to leave her kids, as
Right.
it was to record two CDs. It was like, oh boy, babysitter to the babysitter to the,
Yeah.
it was so much, but to not have those kids wouldn't have been something I wanted either for my life,
Right.
so. Whereas now I feel like, okay, I have a good amount of understanding. I'm putting myself in situations that I feel like I'm getting more ready. I think I mentioned a little bit, like I've been trying to find different artistic outlets just
Yes.
because on stage I was shy. I was like, kind of shelling up, and I'd rather surround myself with the instrument and other humans that are going to fill up that noise instead of me being like, how's everybody doing today?
Yeah,
And
that's
actually
amazing.
trying to connect. Whereas now I'm having more opportunity to try to allow myself to connect. But because I'm putting myself in like dinner theater, like I'm having
Yeah.
such a great time of just seeing how much an audience wants to be connected with,
Hmm.
and realizing that like you really got to put like whatever wall that I have up that says I'm over here, you're over there, I'll do my thing, you enjoy yourself, and just to kind of like reach through it and be like, what you eating? I mean, it's
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
I had a table bring me a piece of cake the other day.
Yeah.
They were celebrating a birthday, and I was just giving them all sorts of I don't know, hollering all sorts of songs for them and
Hmm.
stuff. And these little girls were all dancing to it. They'd come up
Oh,
and give me a
cute.
tip, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What's your favorite song?" And at the end of it, they were like, "Here's a piece of cake."
That's
and
awesome.
and feeling like that's kind of what it is. There's a certain amount of this connection that I, for so long, I feel like I've tried to maybe not make, or somehow I don't know how I'm making these connections because I feel like I'm very shelled up here, all of a sudden it feels like a piece of cake that I'm actually reaching across and having this conversation. And I don't care if you have to leave in another 10 minutes, I'm still going to say bye to you,
Yep.
and thanks for the restaurant that just had me. Thanks for the corner that of these us musicians are allowed to play in.
Hmm.
And, thanks for the opportunity,
Definitely.
it's fun.
I've been watching some players recently on my travels, and things that I've not always been great at speaking, believe it or not, at my shows. Um, I've always kind of focused at how well can I sing this or play this, and how well can I wing a request. It's always been like focused on that, and with a little bit of talking maybe, but exactly what you're saying. Typically, people are out to eat, to eat or drink,
Mhm.
or to be at an event. They're already in the frame mind that they want to have fun. They want to be entertained. They're probably better suited for that. So then it's kind of like you got to take control and engage. Paige and I were just talking about that, about the engaging part. Even if people aren't really giving you a response, sometimes it feels like, oh, like it's one of those
Mm,
gigs where it's just like people are there, but they're doing their own thing. But even if you're still engaged and you're still almost putting on the show, they
mm,
might be listening. They might. I've had shows like that where nobody says a word. 3 hours done.
mhm. Us.
Bunch of people put tips and tips. Man, you were fantastic. You're so good. You're so good. And I'm like, it would have been nice to know. I
Yeah,
was feeling like,
you're a fun drop in here.
yeah,
But,
um,
but sometimes that's part of it too, like not
yeah,
expecting them to like there was one show, I forgot what it was, but it was kind of like a busier area. I could tell like everybody was just really focusing on their food.
yep.
They were enjoying the music, but it was like the sporadic people that would like stop and start clapping. I'm like, I appreciate that, but like you don't have to. I'm
Oh,
having fun here
do you
regardless. I
tell
do
them they don't
appreciate
have to
you like
clap?
yeah, like I appreciate you acknowledging my presence, and I see that you see me because I'm having a little conversation, but like don't feel like you have to clap after every song. I'm playing for 3 hours, and it was kind of I don't know, like you're out there doing what you do because you love to do what you do. You're
Yes.
not
Yep.
necessarily out there for the appreciation as much as it's nice,
Hmm.
it just like relax. I'm gonna relax over here. You relax over there. Listen to
You're
ourselves,
right here. You got to bring it down to.
Yeah,
How do you
like
feel?
well.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel when people come up to you and they're like, "You are wonderful. Your voice, it's just so great. It's so fantastic. I appreciate it so." How does that feel to you, or how do you respond? Does it ever happen? I'm sure it does.
Does. I guess there's a little bit of a shell shocked, like, it's like for somebody to come up and say that, obviously they mean
Yeah.
it. And compliments aren't necessarily 100% hard for me to take, but it's, there's that mindset of sometimes I'm leaving a gig thinking about everything that I could have done better, and having somebody be like, man, I really like that song, or did you write that one,
Hmm.
um, or your voice or whatnot.
Yep.
It's kind of like message in, message out, So it's like they've said something nice, now I will say something in return, like thank you
Hmm.
for hanging out. It's maybe a little bit more, um, I don't know, like it's not like a, oh my God, you loved what I did. It's
Why not?
it's more just a quick thank you and thanks for hanging out and supporting the main music scene.
Yeah.
And definitely something to kind of
Yeah.
hopefully take, and I'm getting better at it, like those
Yeah.
negativity that kind of like you leave and you're like, oh, I missed it the second verse there. I didn't
Exactly.
even overlook that. So, just all the ways that you kick yourself and just kind of
Yeah.
be like, focus on that
Yeah.
positive.
Definitely. I
Move on.
think we're definitely our worst critics. I told that to a lot of young people that are new at it. When they, if they're a little nervous to start out doing what they're doing, I always say one thing I said to myself when I started doing this was, I am probably the most qualified person in this room to do what I'm about to do. And it's usually true until we're in a room full of musicians and we're like, oh shit, one of those gigs, those happen. I'm like, I gotta really, Bill Pierce is here. Let's see if I can work on my shredding 30-second notes, 64th note. No, but
Oh, man.
when people come up to me and they say something like that, you're so great, your voice is awesome. Usually I tell them, you're so kind, thank you. But a lot of times I will say, I do get that from people. People do say that to me. And honestly, no matter how often that ever happens or how many times it happens, it's always wonderful. It's not like, I don't know. It's like you don't want to really like brush it off. It means a lot, and it's very kind, and it's it's a rare thing. I think that I think I try to make sure that they know that. And sometimes I'll say that on the microphone, and I'll say, so it's like, guys, I know I'm good. But I say, sometimes people say that, and it's so nice of them to take the time to do that. And but yeah, no matter how often that happens, it's always wonderful, and I think it's good to just know, we don't take that for granted, and I don't think you would. I was just wondering if you kind of run that, because at first I was like, thanks, that was kind of my first thing, but I make sure to let people know, because you never know, and that's what we were just saying about like the young girls taking music lessons. You might not be Alanis Morissette to them, but you never know the kind of impact or influence you have on people. We played this show. Did you ever play?
You said that, and I was like, wouldn't that be something with that? I was like, there, Landis Morissette, kind of like had a daydream for a minute.
Or whatever, whoever the equivalent is, your Olivia Rodrigo to them. I don't know. No. Solon Hotel. Did you ever play there? Solon, Maine. It's like it's a old building. I don't know if it's still there. I think it might be. But anyway, it was an old kind of dive bar, blues bar, and my band played there. And I was at the point in this band, my 3-piece band, that I was about over it, and I didn't like it anymore. It's cover songs, bar songs, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. I want to do an original band. So I was already at the end of my thing. There was it was one night, and it was like the second set was done, and we're mingling and talking, and this guy and his wife come up to me, and he's like, we had a baby a year ago, and we haven't been out of the house for a year, and this is the first time we've been out since the baby was born, and you guys are so good. Like, this has been the best night. Like I couldn't believe it. And I was feeling kind of bitter about the whole thing. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I probably said that at quite a few shows. And and they literally said that to me. I go, and that really hit me. Like, you never know who you're connecting with or whatever. You never know what's going on. So even in whatever level someone's influencing somebody, it can make a big difference in somebody's world. And I think that's another rare, that's kind of a beautiful thing that you can't buy that kind of stuff. So those are all my thoughts. We're gonna write a book. I've got my notepad right here. Just
Okay.
I'm writing notes.
I was looking for a collaborator. When you mentioned the guy walked up to you and said they had a baby a year ago, I've also had people say some really interesting things after a show, kind of like, "What was the name of that song of yours? Because we're gonna go home later."
Wow.
Pretty much, we're gonna take a baby to that one, and I'm like, "Oh my god," So
Who knew?
you never know what you're going to encounter when somebody walks up to you. It's like, this could be anything.
Yeah. Now that we mention that, anybody let us know in the comments if you've ever listened to Trisha Mason or Riff Johnson.
It was My Only Mind. They really, really liked it. There was something
wow.
about the driving beat, and afterwards they were like, "What is the name of that song?" And they were very excited about it.
They're like, we're going to be in exact sync to that beat. You're like, oh no.
Why are you doing this to me?
That's
I know
great.
you're trying to be nice.
Yeah.
So a compliment like that maybe makes me like, "Oh wow, yes, thank you."
yeah. That's so
In
great.
comparison of like,
Yeah. It's so funny. Hold on. We're getting a call. I don't care. Um, it didn't matter. I wouldn't have taken it. Maybe there was two people in this world that I might have taken that for, but no. They can call me back.
Oh, you could take it. We could, maybe
I'm
they're
just
calling.
joking.
Maybe they got a question.
It came up. It didn't have a name or anything. I don't know what it is.
Damn it. Same.
Yeah, I was like, do you have a question for Trisha Mason? She's here right now.
We could just make them up.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, Riff Johnson. They want to know
Oh,
when you were recording your last video there. That was in Bangor, correct?
could
Okay,
be.
that beautiful blonde woman. They want to know. They're a little curious if they can have her digits.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Great. He says yes.
He says yes. We'll post it right here.
That was so much fun. I was so bummed I missed that night.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, I'm recording live," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ah, I wish I could get there." I was like working that night or already had something planned.
You know what's
or-
funny about that is I knew her name was Jennifer, and I still don't know her last name, and I wrote her in the credits as Jennifer Jean Jacket. I don't know if you caught that.
Right on.
She's in the credits.
Right on.
It was actually, that was a funny thing, because the guys on stage were most of the guys that were in my first video there for all the way home. Same characters. And not as many people as I thought would have come out to get some crowd interaction, but this girl had come out with Sue Vaughn's friend, and she really wanted to be in the video, and I was like, how are we going to incorporate this one person in the video? And it worked out great. It was really fun, and we had fun with it. She gets a part of it. She's like, one long summer. It was great.
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
We had
Yeah.
fun. It was fun. It was silly and fun. That's
Yeah.
the name of the game, though. It shouldn't be too serious.
I agree. You gotta laugh about it. You gotta be lighthearted about it.
Yeah, I think so. Wow, we've done well. We're 32 minutes in. Does it feel like it?
God, you're exhausting. This
I
is so
am.
boring. I'm out. No, it's fun.
It's
That
like,
was fun
"Woo."
talking to you. We talked like an hour before we even started. So
We did.
part of me is like, do I want to mention that part again? Or
I know.
did I already?
Can you go over the part about how I'm so great or whatever? No, just kidding.
I will mention one thing about you, and I did want to make sure that this is in here. During the pandemic, a lot of us were like really struggling. Like for me, I like packed up a life, and
Yeah.
and my two kids and made a move, and that was a little tough. But you were like this present force, always like doing these lives. Like I can remember, like I was working an overnight one night.
Yeah.
It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Here's Riff Johnson live, on
Yeah.
Facebook. And it was like, I don't know, there was something about your presence during the pandemic that was like healing. Like you were always there. And I felt like you were a warrior during that time.
Thank you for
I
that.
felt like we couldn't get my shit enough together to actually be there for people that might have been like, "Where's Trisha? We would love to see her live." Nobody's like that, but like that was my voice of like maybe they would.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were such a warm presence through all that. That
Thank you.
it was really nice to see.
Which is funny because right after pandemic, thank you. Right after the pandemic times, my life got totally turned upside down, and I ended up traveling the country all of a sudden. It just like I literally thought, where do I want to go? Where do I want to live? I'm not needed in Maine anymore. Well,
Yeah.
family obligations were not keeping me in Maine, and so I was like, what part of the country do I want to live in? And literally that led to, let's take a tour. I don't know, and so I've seen everything.
Someplace warm.
Yeah, I've seen everything like 2 or 3 times now.
Good.
And I was just going to relocate. It's probably going to be Phoenix area eventually.
Okay.
And then when it's hot there, just come up here. Come up see Trisha Mason.
Hells
Rock
yeah.
a show.
Anytime, brother.
Yeah. But we just kept moving around. It's kind of like some people are so very kind to let us stay with them, which is really helpful because it would be so expensive. It would be so not. We would have to have an RV at that point, and we're going back and forth. Like, do we do an RV? Do we do? What are the pros and cons, and money wise, gas and mobility, like maneuverability, and But we're getting to the point where we might need to do something bigger. But it's just like the moving around the country thing's been pretty good. It's not like I have a million fans in San Francisco, but there's some people. It's just weird.
It starts somewhere.
Yeah.
It starts getting there.
Yeah,
And you kind of
yeah.
meet a couple people.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, I don't know if you've read his book yet. But I mean, he
No.
was like going over the West Coast, building up a little bit of a
Hmm.
who's this guy? And then he'd go back home to Jersey, and everybody like, yeah, he's home. And then he'd go back out
Yeah.
West Coast, and who's
Yep.
this guy? Oh, he's
Yep.
back.
Yeah.
So it was like he was creating these two little empires that just,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yep.
also Bruce Springsteen. Good
True.
God, so.
True. I'm actually. That's kind of funny that this summer my main focus is going to be theater shows, and maybe just a few. And maybe if you want to be in on one of them, just saying, you'd be
I know.
awesome. You'd be awesome. You
I
are
love the
awesome.
theatrical stuff. One of the things
Yeah.
I was mentioning to you
Yep.
about, like, not taking it so personal is
Yeah.
doing some like dinner theater and
Yeah.
just like being a little bit
Yep.
sillier
Yep.
and just
Yep.
finding different outlets
Yeah.
artistically. But
Definitely.
yeah, so,
Definitely. That would
so
be
what are you
fun.
doing? You doing what?
Like a theater show. Just a handful of theater shows. I'm going to play like I think maybe a couple fairs and like my hometown gathering,
Hmm.
Pittsfield. But besides that, I think I'm just gonna do maybe 4 or 5 theater shows. That's it. No bars, no restaurants. Not doing it. It's kind of scary because that's what I've always done, like 60 or 70 of them, and I'm like, make some money and
I
go. But
know. Yeah.
who knows? Let's see what happens. Come
And
on, folks, support.
I've noticed that there's certain bars,
Hmm.
like there's one spot in Waterville, they have singer-songwriters there all the time. So
Hmm.
people go for dinner. It's
Hmm.
delicious, but they know that there's music there too. So I don't know. It's also a way of kind of, building up that little buzz about yourself no matter where. So I guess
Yeah,
it depends on who's there, and
yeah, we're gonna
there's
see.
some venues that are definitely more listening audiences
Yeah,
than others.
yeah.
But
Waterville
I could,
Opera House is one of my targets. I don't know. I think
yeah,
I could do it.
you
I
know.
think if I had enough time to promote it and get people into to buying tickets to something, we're gonna find out. We're gonna either nail it or kind of do okay or crash and burn. That's about all the that's about all the things that could happen.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's gonna be an experience, and we'll get some good
Like
footage.
when you think of, so like I live down the street from the Strand Theater, when
That's
they
one of
have a
them
new
too, by the way.
artist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I already have it in
When
there.
they have an artist, the artist has like this really cool niche clip of a video, and it's enough of it that it's like, oh, that's different. That sounds nice. I'm curious what that's about. You know, I don't know. There feels like between the videos that you've produced, videos I've produced, like there should be enough out there to just kind of create a little bit of a like, what's this? And that's
Yep.
all you can really do is kind
No.
of create a little bit of a what's
Yep.
this for people. You
Yep.
like
Yep.
either want to go check it out or not.
Yep, short to the point. The thing too
Yeah.
about theaters that I think, and I don't know yet, I'm just guessing, they have a bit of their own people that support them. They have their own community, their own email list, their own,
Hmm.
So if you could put something together that looks nice like that, like a quick promo thing, and get it ahead of time and let people know this is coming to the theater. I don't know. I think there's enough people in Maine to support a few shows in different areas. Oh, we're gonna try it. Let's hit the
Yeah.
Strand. Let's do it. Come on, Trisha Mason. Come on downtown. Oh, just
I will.
yank my ear
I
out.
will.
That's
I'll put
awesome.
my dreads in. I've got these fake like braids that I put in
Well,
sometimes. They're
then I
terrifying.
might as well open for you.
I would appreciate that.
That's how it's going down. Just call it the Trisha Mason Show featuring Riff Johnson for a very short time.
I'm always curious how people put you, whether you're first or second, where what there's this little music scene going on
Hmm.
down here, and it, they're a lot of fun. And I kind of moved, 3 years ago, and then I, had to start a life and get a job and all the different things. So it's like I didn't get out to the music scene quite as much. But it's been really interesting to kind of be like, we're going to put you first because we're hoping people will hear you and really want to stay, you know?
Yeah,
Or we're going to
yeah,
put you last, or like all the different reasons as to why they do what they do. And it's just
yeah.
kind of, it works, whatever,
I've heard a lot of people say we don't want to go last because we want to make sure people are there or whatever. I can't remember. It's just weird. I don't know. It depends. I mean, hopefully, if you have some fans that are coming to see the show, well, I think we shouldn't make it very long. I think that's part of it. Is to find the appropriate length where people aren't like, okay, this is this is a little
I
much.
agree.
So
I
we'll
watched this
figure it.
girl, I can't remember her name, but I have her
Hmm.
CD someplace. But she was up at the Grand
Okay.
and she played, it was probably about, it might have been like an hour and a half. It
Hmm.
kind of seems like a sweet spot,
Yep.
you know, for one artist to
Right.
kind of showcase her guitar skills, her piano skills, her singer-songwriter skills, and
Yep.
to get a meet, greet, and talk to you afterwards,
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
That's about what I figure, something like that.
Hmm.
And maybe even up to 2 hours with two artists, just kind of.
But somebody like, the Mallet Brothers is gonna pack the place.
Right.
Someone like Chris Ross is
Yep.
gonna do pretty good.
Yep. Yep.
Someone like, me might be like, who? Because I've been mom raising, I've
I've
been
been mom
moving, I've
raising.
been, like
Yep.
all the different things. So it's kind of like, all right,
Yep.
now I need to kind of put my name out there in a way
Yep.
of, like it was in Ellsworth,
Yeah.
of getting
Yep.
out and playing weekly and kind of building
Yeah.
up. Like I've got people up there and be like, what are you playing up this way again?
Oh.
I'd love to, but I don't necessarily want to play like I did the waterfront. It was amazing. It felt like a family reunion,
Oh,
this
that's
past
cool.
summer. Yeah,
That was like
like
a that
and
was like a summertime thing, whatever. Like,
yeah,
yep.
people were bringing their lawn chairs out and blankets, and it
That's
was
cool.
so many people I'd met um, through playing weekly bar at Finn's Irish Pub.
Yep.
We were there like every Thursday, and it was
Mm.
like the amount of people that we met, just kind of having that like little roost.
That's
And it
cool.
was just kind of like I was almost in tears after the show. The amount of people
Oh.
that came up, and I was like, like so many of my Ellsworth people, so many people, like even down east came,
Hmm.
and it was really nice to feel like that felt good. That felt like a step up. That felt
Yep.
like I didn't ask to play, maybe headed towards Waterville where they don't know me yet. There's
Yep.
that little bit like, okay, I'll take this bar. I'll see what else is like
Hmm.
might pull me in or who I might meet or, kind of being open.
Yep.
Whereas up in Ellsworth, where it already kind of built up a little bit of who this person is, it
Yeah.
felt like the
Yep.
waterfront was a real good step,
That's good. That's awesome. I think another thing too is that social media. We were talking about this a little bit before. Just harnessing that in a way that you can target things in a certain area. So if it was the state of Maine, you can actually target videos on different platforms to
Mhm.
to jump up in front of people in this general area, maybe the entire state or down east or mid coast, whatever, and people can kind of just like stumble upon you and not really know how, and like, oh, who's this? If you can get something that's kind of grabbing, and that's one of the
Mhm.
goals too, is to try to promote that now-ish until summer, and hopefully that will help in different areas. Who
Yeah.
knows? But it's worth a
No, I
shot.
hear ya.
It's worth a shot. So you can see Trisha Mason, Riff Johnson, likely at the Strand in Mid Coast, Maine. we're
That'd
not
be
getting
fun.
we're not getting real specific. They can find it if they wanted to. They
We-
will if we do it. We're gonna. It's gonna
One of
be
the
out
little
there.
music things I did this past winter, it was fun. There was like three of us, and then they had like this open jam at the end of it. But I found another thing with like the clapping. I kind of went to this like dun, 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 in
Hmm.
between every song, and I had some sort of I tried to map out like a story.
Oh.
So like instead of asking them to clap for me, the song would be done, we'd go right back into the din 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 din, and I'd be like, it was a Wednesday, and
Oh.
you know, it took like the third or fourth song for the people to be like, she's not stopping, like she's not
Yeah.
giving us an opportunity to clap. And a part of
That's
me was
great.
just like I wanted to put on. I had 90 minutes to put on like this little segment of a show.
Hmm.
A part of that show was just kind of like one song over into the next song with that bridge in between was just this little story part.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I've seen shows that are seamless, or if it's like an opening band that only has so much time, it's like they don't stop. It's kind of cool. The seamlessness is cool, and that's one of the things I've been working on too. Is being a bit more talkative, back and forth with the audience. But then maybe I get done a song and start up the beat, and because I'm doing like a one man looping thing, the beat and like a strumming thing, and let that play out and talk over that, as opposed to silence. So it's
Mhm.
almost like, okay, this song got done, now we're starting the next one, but we don't really start the song yet. We just have the rhythm and the guitar part, drums, and then go into whatever, if it's a story or if it's a how you guys doing out there. Can't help it. That's always a
This
question.
one's for the ladies.
Yeah, I literally did that the other night. We stopped into Front Porch Bar here in Lillian, Alabama, and I knew who the owner was, and he was playing a show with the guitarist, and he's like, "You want to get up and do some songs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do two." He left me there for an hour, almost.
Nice.
So
Well,
me and this
yeah, I mean,
guitarist, and I literally did one. I said, "This one's for the ladies," and it was "Love and Touch and Squeezing" by Journey.
God, you probably easily have like 400 songs stuck in your head.
Yeah, it was funny because the guy, I did 3 or 4 of my originals, and this guy never heard of him, and he ripped some solos on it. He's so good. His name's Britt Meacham. He's I guess in the 70s and 80s he toured, and he was like the guy that toured with everybody, like all the big famous bands. He was just a session player or whatever, and he's just the guy to go on tour, and like I guess he's lived quite a life, but kind of cool. I mean, he's obviously at a bit of a retirement part of his life where he comes out and he jams, a couple times a week. But man, it just sounds so good, just smooth. The
Isn't
guy
that
that's
something I love
amazing.
when, like Dave Isaac or
Yeah,
my fiddle player Doug or
Doug's
even
great.
Jack, like there's so much, they have such an ear for it.
Yep.
I'm amazed at these musicians that
Yep.
you don't even have to tell them the key almost,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they're just going to town, they're right in there in the pocket, and
Yeah.
they just know what they're doing.
Yep.
Whereas for me, like having the opportunity to play with different musicians and see how they work, it's been quite a learning experience to the point where this past summer I was playing with a different fiddler,
Yep.
and she's like, let's vamp on something, and I was able to follow what she was vamping on, and I
Oh,
was
cool.
like, wow, this is like a first for me, just to realize that,
Yeah.
like, the more you do, the more you grow, even if you don't realize you are taking those steps. If somebody says, let's do this in the key of A, and all of a sudden I'm like realizing I know the key of A.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was a self-taught musician, when it came
Yeah.
to guitar and stuff. A lot of it's like by ear, so to actually be like, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting ride, but
Yeah.
the more you play with the different people, the better you get.
It's so true. And all that stuff, songwriting. How great were your first songs that you wrote? I mean, mine were laughable.
So adorable. I was such a hurt little kid. I was
Yeah.
like writing about like heartache, and like the girl I once knew, like 13. I was like, oh, it's so cute, but like you're what are you upset about? You're imagining, like
Yeah.
it was so excited to see like what I was able to kind of, or a lot of people are able to, put their imagination into their writing, and it's just. I wasn't really sad. I wasn't really hurt. I was
Yeah.
kind of like, what if this girl was, it just, you have this whole storyline. I love to play. I was a big, so I still play a lot when it comes to songwriting.
Yeah. Trisha, as a young girl, writes the songs like, somebody that I used to know. That's terrible. Moving on. Could you imagine having like this hit song idea, and then later on somehow somebody materializes that and like, ah.
Well, I think so. So I was like a young kid who had the bug, to kind of be a little bit of a songwriter.
Yeah.
And I think if I had had those opportunities that maybe like a Taylor Swift had with like the parents that like moved the whole unit down to Nashville, like, and just
Yeah.
started to get into the process of documenting and recording and recording and recording,
Yep.
I would have had quite the repertoire too,
Yep.
and kind of, I don't know, I still do, but
Yeah.
it's kind of, yeah, it's fun.
It is. And it's funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine that's in the music industry and saying, sometimes, like with what we're doing, literally traveling, putting out content and going place to place, it's not necessarily the right way to do it. You should maybe get popular in one area and grow out from there. But we're literally going all over the place, which is also fun and exciting and something different and keeps me out of the snow, just saying. But I told him, it's hard being in this position to be like, oh, it's growing so slow. It's growing, but sometimes it feels like it's going so slow. But if you really think about a year ago compared to now, how much it's actually improved or how many things have been better, or to 2 years ago, this being the third trip, it's like we come so far and we don't really feel like it all the time, but it's still wonderful. It's still great. There's so much learning. Sometimes there's frustration and disappointment. And you got to understand that it's not like I'm going to go play at, I'm trying to think of a venue that I like in Maine. One that I still like. It's not like it's not like I'm gonna go play at the Poorhouse and the guys at the Poorhouse are like, oh, we didn't know you were coming. Like once in a while there's a show, but those guys are gonna know. They're gonna promote it. And but when you're in, when you're out in Cleveland, Ohio, and they're like, oh, we didn't even know you were coming. I guess it doesn't matter. You can get up and play. And it's like, oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That's why I'm hoping theater. But Maine's wonderful, and it's my home, and I do know people there. I think Maine theaters will be more likely to help promote that. That when a venue and we promote, it's so good. We played in Panama City the other day, and the other night. It was a wonderful time. Such a great time. The owner was awesome. And then the next night, they didn't even know I was playing, and they canceled. Literally here, pretty much where we're staying right now. But which is great. I'm staying with friends, and they're awesome. And it's Paige's birthday today. We got plans. We're doing things that we can't mention because Paige doesn't know yet.
No,
But
I've got the inside scoop though.
yes, you do know. But we will be going live if anybody. We're not gonna. You're not gonna see this anyway. But there's a live somewhere in my history if you guys want to check it out on my fan page. So it's a. I don't know what my point was. It's all wonderful. It's not a typical life. It's an adventure. We don't really know where it's leading.
Yeah.
But it's fun and it's great. And I think on anybody's level, there's more to life than just being successful or whatever. It's the ride. It's the journey. That part's got to be good too,
And I think, like hearing you talk, and I feel like in some ways you're not so different, you and I. But when it comes to, when I mention your name, like I played up that Unity place, and they just love you up there,
Oh, thank you.
But it's not just how talented you are; it's your personality, And I think similar to kind of like a Bruce Springsteen, and honestly, I'm kind of a bookwormy stuff, and I love the real, like how an artist did it, and like it's something to be said for you kind of like dropping a who is this guy, who is this guy, who is this guy, and the more times you drop a who is this guy, and you shine that light of your personality, and you're you are building up quite a bit for yourself. And you mentioned like switching over to Patreon was like a little bit tough for you.
Yes.
And for me, it like knowing that I was putting myself in a position to kind of like hone in on skills. Like if somebody really liked me as an artist and they really wanted to support my mission, my everything, like this little world that I was creating was pretty much for my own growth, so be part of it or not. I appreciate you, regardless, but it felt like I needed to definitely do it for myself because it helped me grow in a way that I'm like sharing material and sharing life experiences that,
awesome.
I also share on Facebook, but in a different way. Like Facebook wants to see a pretty picture almost sometimes, and good enough, where it's like, I want to kind of talk about, like Britney Spears, she went through like so much trauma. Like right before she's getting on stage, she's receiving messages that are just like earth shattering. Now go play, and just knowing that like a lot of times behind the scenes, there's a little bit more that people see. So there's the pretty picture of Britney Spears, but like when it came down to it, she just had to get out and put her best face on in earth shattering, life altering. Am I ever going to see my children again?
Yeah. Did you grab that book?
Not yet.
Oh,
But
I see. I heard it's good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
she's now Brandy Carlisle, Jewel, Bruce Springsteen, the Beatles.
Yeah. What?
I was inspired by it. Was Brian Wilson. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, did you read his book?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the other thing I try to do is not just read the book, but try to get into like that mindset of how they were writing songs. He was so car related. I wanted to be like, well, I've always loved trucks, So
there you go.
Here's this girl now writing about trucks, and guys,
Well, why not?
I've got a truck I'm with. Yeah.
I call it truck. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's so therapeutic to just kind of see how somebody else did it, and just especially people you're like admire,
I gotta get the.
I mean, I was never 100% a big Britney Spears fan, but knowing another female artist and a mother who's behind, like, putting out that I'm so good right now face when really it's just, for me, it just gave me a lot more respect for her in general, just that's a lot to go through.
Definitely. Have you ever seen the Bruce Springsteen on Netflix, the Broadway show on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
It's amazing.
I love it.
He's incredible. Like, I didn't know this. I didn't tell you this, but so my friends in Phoenix, we're going to be there in March. Literally the day after we get there, my friend Emily goes, Well, we got 2 extra tickets to Bruce Springsteen. So, do you want to go? We're going in March.
No doubt.
Yeah, so that's so exciting. So
Yeah.
we've been going through his songs, his albums, and Paige needs to see the Netflix thing. She'll appreciate him more. But I'd like to read the book. I'd like to get that too. That would
Book
be
was
cool.
great.
It was good.
It was like an insight, and one thing I like about it too, and even read like Tony Hawk, kind of like his marketing
It's
is like
amazing.
genius.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, I love like the real life experiences, but they open up their worlds,
Yeah.
they kind of give a little bit of their like marketing strategy and what worked for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably the best, I mean, we could sit here and be like social media this, social media that, or,
Yeah.
but until you're actually like understanding, how another person kind of slowly grow, I feel
Yeah.
like you've got more of an opportunity to be in like Florida, Alabama,
Yeah.
you're like dropping little riff bombs.
Yeah. Little riff bombs all over the country.
The more little riff bombs you drop, the more
Yeah.
little,
Hey,
who
maybe.
who is this guy,
Yeah. But I think growing that it's so funny because we were talking about we don't really like it. We don't necessarily really love the social media thing. It's funny, but it's a tool, and an opportunity to. I think the most important thing is to be yourself out there, and maybe if Patreon you could be a little more behind the scenes. I mean that might bring a little more value to that people want to dive into. I'll just say what I never really told you the thing about switching to Patreon. I'll do it real quick. So. So the whole thing, I guess I did kind of tell you that, is I am I'm kind of decluttering. I'm taking my fan page and I'm going to make it more streamlined for people that come to my fan page and see who I am. So these videos that are there for 3 hours, these 3-hour live videos that are on there and all that stuff, I'm going to try to do away with that. Partly because I'm doing something different with my show now. I'm kind of remodeling it. Hopefully I'll have it nailed down by the time I get back to Maine doing theater shows. And I want it to be unique. And I don't want everybody to just be able to grab it and put it on the internet. I used to always not care about playing live and playing online and sharing that part. But we'll still take clips and things, and we'll take some content and we'll put them on there. I'll still go live on my fan page. But I have made a patrons Facebook page where I will go live now. And that is a page that is for active Patreon users. And if it's worth $5 to you a month, or whatever level tier you want to be at, that's great. And if not, it's fine. I'm not going anywhere. It's just that I'm not doing all of my lives streamed everywhere where people can access them and copy them and whatever. And you can't share them in a private group either. So that's kind of part of that. And whatever. And like we were talking earlier, we'll self-promoting musicians, and that's part of it. A little bit of help here and there. Like literally, if it's a $5 cup of coffee a month, if they want it makes a big difference. If 10 or 20 people, do that. If 31 people do a cup of coffee, that's 1 cup of coffee a day.
No, I hear you.
But
And it's not just a cup of coffee,
It's
like
not.
to, because the next thing I need to get into, you probably do too, is how do you say, well, what is this Patreon thing? What is this marketing myself to ask you to give me money?
Yep.
Of course, people like as soon as I get like $5, what? I get it. It takes somebody who's like, oh, I really want to see this person succeed. I really want to help Trisha get back into the studio.
Yep.
I want to see her. How much does that cost? I recently did like a mean grant, I'm crossing my fingers, but at the same time, it all comes out of, that 40+ hour work week I just put in,
Yes.
and you do, so like, how do you say it in a way where it's not like, it's them loving you enough to realize that they're helping you and then
Yeah.
tremendously, and you might maybe consider like starting off where there's a little bit of a live, on those other platforms, and here's where you get the rest of it.
Yeah. We've literally been
I'm
talking
not
about
sure
that.
what's out there to kind of like really pull,
Yeah.
and this is where it starts, especially if you're
Yeah.
playing and now you're trying to
We-
press all the buttons. That's such a pain in the butt.
we have like between Paige and I, we have 3 phones, so we've literally thought about kitty. We thought about 2 phones, one on my Facebook fan page, one on the Patreon group, and then this one would do maybe part of a set and be like, well, we're going to switch back over to the Patreon group, and if you guys want to join, if it's something to you, you can join now, and if the notification comes up that you're in, we'll add you to the group, and you can come on live. And but trying to make that sound like it's not like you're wheeling and dealing. I had some hate mail from this. telling me it was a bitch move and this isn't right. It's a scam. And I'm like, a scam? Yes, you have to be there. Please do it. But I think, I don't know, over time, it's just going to be what it is, and that'll be the thing. If it wasn't always there to begin with, people wouldn't blow up about it. But whatever, it's fine. There's followers and there's fans. And
It's
there's,
one of those fears that we also have is that, like, so we are all socially connected in so many different aspects,
Yeah.
it's wonderful, Facebook is free. Sure, they also take everything that you put on it, potentially turn it into movies. Who knows how they're
True.
making some big bucks. But like, if everything were to start costing money, that's terrifying, right? So you're saying I'm an artist. I'm putting in the time and effort to do this. Would you support me as an artist?
Right.
So it's definitely different than like, what's Sally McFarley doing, and she's like, well, if you want to see me, wash my car, and you're creating something, you're producing art, and to
Yeah.
say, hey, am I worth it to you?
Yep.
Isn't, it shouldn't be offensive,
Yeah. And it totally doesn't have to be worth it to you. That's great. It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
it doesn't.
It's all good.
I hate nails a little bit much, and I'm sure I
Yeah.
have made people nervous too,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And,
But then again, people that were like that were not real close to me anyway. All they know is what they see, and
yeah.
because they play music in their basement for free, it doesn't matter. That's a
And
true
you could
story.
do that forever,
Yep.
but like, you'd be foolish not to take advantage of it,
So anyway,
Honestly, we could even market it in a way that you and I are having like a thing, right?
that's right. A thing.
And you're only going to hear those songs if you're on Patreon. Like sometimes I've thought, like, how do you create the world that's like intrigue and interesting enough that like people are actually like, what is really going on here?
Yeah.
But for me, I just love being able to express myself fully, to actually say all the little pieces of it that either are painful or happy or what you're going through, or the real behind the scenes of like right now I'm part of this February album writing month.
Yeah.
And I've since the first, so we got like 5 days in of like up to 10 songs, and I'm like, quickly, you've got an hour on some of these like
Yeah.
challenges to like take a prompt, write a song, produce a song, submit the song, so at the same time I'm throwing them on Patreon,
Yeah.
and
Awesome.
it's just so fun to kind of have this opportunity, but also like know that this isn't necessarily material that I would just want to give to everybody. I
Yep.
want it to be part. I wouldn't want somebody to like scan it through and be like, "What the hell did I just listened to?"
Yeah.
That has no idea who I am. I want it to be like, "Oh, this is what she's doing, and this is why it makes sense to the people that are part of that little world."
That's good.
It's fun.
More value.
Yeah,
More value. For that matter, I'm going to
Mhm.
go to scene 2 here and say, you can find Trisha Mason. Now this is, and I hadn't heard of this yet. It's Milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Yeah, a friend of mine
you
actually
go.
turned me onto it. She's like, Trisha, you really need a milkshake, Dad. It's like, I need a what?
You know what?
I need a what?
I hadn't heard of this, but this link takes you to all things Trisha Mason. So if you click on this thing, and it's in big letters, so you can't see it right now, but it will be in the YouTube video.
Should I point? Because it's like there.
You can be like this, right about where I am right now. A little more, yeah, a little higher. Sorry, you're getting cut off. Higher, right there. That's close enough. No, just kidding. msha.ke/Trisha Mason Music, and then you can see the links to things. You can join Trisha's Patreon. You can see her YouTube stuff. We were going to talk a little bit about YouTube videos, but we're going to link them. I'm going to link. Do you want me to link all 4 that you sent me, or was it more than 4?
It's up to you.
Okay.
Part of it was kind of the different opportunities that I've kind of had, like the grand one with the song
Okay.
"We're So Better."
Yeah.
I'd done like a heating benefit for them, and I was like, and one of the last ones, she's like, "Well, we can't pay you." I'm like, "No worries. Do you mind if we use the grand to record a video sometime?"
Wonderful.
And just recording with Jack and Doug, they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
So like, if anything, I was trying to like hold it together and be serious.
Oh yeah.
So there's a certain amount of there's like such a major smile about
Who-
it,
who
And
filmed-
then I had an opportunity at NESCOM, and
Yes.
and it was Gordon, I can't think of his last name right now, but he was running a sound class. And
Okay.
so like all these students are
Yep.
just, I was like, do you guys want to be in it? You know? And so they're
Oh.
running all around. I was like, do you guys have like your phones? Can everybody like take a video and then send it? Because maybe we'll get some really interesting footage.
Oh, that's
So there's
awesome.
all these kids like running around with their phones recording. And at the very end of it, there was one kid, I don't even know why. I was like, hey, you. And I said, come over here. And he shows his phone and he had written out on one of those things like, this band is whacked.
Uh,
And I had no idea. I just was kind of like, "Hey, you," and he and I put like my arm around, and I went like this, and I left, and he like it ends with like saying this band is whack. You know,
yeah.
it was like so unplanned and so much fun.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll link it. What was that? What was that one you just said? What was the video called?
The one I just talked about was My
Yeah.
Lonely Mind.
Okay, My
Yeah.
Lonely Mind and I saw the other
First one
one.
or worse or better.
Force of it. Okay, so I'll link
Yeah.
those two, and of course your YouTube, all down in the notes, and you
Perfect.
guys can comment and
Appreciate it.
say how wonderful you think Trisha Mason is, because she is, even if she won't let
That's
you
not
know.
what this is about, Riff. This is
It
about
is.
saying, I appreciate you as an artist.
Oh,
Thank you for
thank you.
appreciating being an artist. I'm really curious about your podcasts.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the ones that I've seen.
Oh,
You
thank
had
you.
that, yeah. There was one woman you had on that I was like, holy moly, she's really like diving into a story. Oh yeah,
But
oh,
wait,
great.
did she happen to have been shot in the face?
That's the one.
Man, she's diving into it. Did you hear that whole story about that? I mean, we can talk about it later
Oh
too.
man,
Just crazy.
good
I
God.
was just sitting playing in San Antonio at a bar, and she comes in. She was just so nice. She came up. You could just tell she was into it. She was so nice, and dropped me a tip. I said hi, and she actually commented on my Instagram, which I told you I'm not great at Instagram. But the next day, I was just like, oh, there's that girl, and I clicked on it and scrolled down a little bit, and her thing was like this image. She said, I'm so proud of myself because where 2 years ago I was shot in the face. And it was at a Whole Foods buying a sandwich. It's unbelievable. And that is a girl that is grateful to be alive. And it's just quite a story. Just amazing that
Yeah.
she's alive. And, just to think of the things that we deal with. Like, I was never shot in the face. Not yet. Hopefully never. But it was just, man, what a story.
I've been close.
But yeah, but what a cool reaction. I think my point to that was, I use that in a speech now when I'm doing public speaking, is that girl had every right to be home upset about 2 years ago being shot in the face and being depressed, and she was out on a Wednesday night having tacos, coming to see Riff Johnson. It was just unbelievably nice, and just a
I do
special
feel like
person.
people that have experienced a real like I shouldn't be here. Like there's this
Yeah,
whole different value that you kind of
grateful.
bring to your life
Yep.
that is just there's so much gratitude
Yep,
to have this opportunity to still be breathing.
I agree. It's
It was a
crazy.
great story. Well
That was
done.
good. Yeah, thank you. She made it up. No, it's awful. And since that video came out, the guy was sentenced to 45 years in jail, and I think not able to get out on whatever good behavior until like 90% of it was served. So it was sad. It was ugh, what a story. But it's
Crazy.
nice that justice was kind of served there in that case and everything. But that took 2 years before that trial. It's like so slow. It's like
Oh, I
I'm
don't
still.
want to get into that.
She's like, I'm still here with all my reconstructive surgery and all these things, and
Mm.
but man, unbelievable. But yeah, it's funny because I love doing this podcasting. I just don't get time to do it a lot with everything that's going on. I think today I was doing yours, and I think I'm doing one tomorrow. And with Jose, who we're staying with here, he's actually like a conga drummer locally here at a lot of places, and he's great. He's Cuban dude. He's such a good dude. And
Does he collaborate?
is he what?
Will he collaborate?
He might. He might. We're probably gonna try to do a video together or something. It'd be fun.
Hey, Jose,
He can't hear
collaborate
you.
with me.
Yeah. No, he's good, man. He's just like he's a
Nice.
smooth player. But it's just cool. I didn't even think of it till Paige mentioned it. She's like, "Do you think Jose would do one?" I'm like, "He might. He's all kinds of interesting knowledge from this area.
Everybody's got stories.
They do. Everyone can
Mhm.
teach you something.
Agreed.
Pretty much.
So happy birthday to Paige.
Yes.
You're probably
Oh,
that's gonna be fun.
I
You guys
can't.
have a good
I
time.
can't reveal what's happening tonight. I mean, I could because this is going to come out after it, but it'll be live, and when people see this, This might be a couple weeks away. but anyway, we went and did something cool. If you want to check it out, search Paige birthday. That's what I'll put in it. I'll put Paige's birthday and then
Beautiful.
Paige's birthday extravaganza. If you search that, that's what I'll call it tonight. And we're gonna go live, and it's gonna be entertaining, I think. So very
That'll be
excited.
fun.
And then I might get some hate mail from people too. I don't know.
You know what?
Who cares?
Riff, if they love you enough to send you hate, behind every act of hate, there once was love.
Oh wow! They're like, man, Riff Johnson, you've changed.
No, you anymore.
Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. I hope we can get to do a show together this summer. I have an in at the Strand actually right now. A guy that I actually grew up with, and he's well connected there. So that one's hopefully happening. I'm really just gonna do a few. That's the goal. I got a few private parties already booked, which are great. But besides that, I'm not playing the bars. I don't know if I'll come down to it. I don't think I'm gonna get into the Bangor Theater, but I might even consider doing one bigger venue in Bangor. I don't know. I should do one because
You should.
that's the spot.
People
That's
love
the
you
spot.
up there.
The spot. But yeah, Mid-Coast Maine. Just leaving it at that. Mid-Coast Maine. Okay, it's so funny. I said Ellsworth earlier. What an idiot. I knew you were down there. My mind's stuck.
It's been good. Good people.
Yeah, I really love whenever I play down there. It is a hootenanny. It's so much fun. You meet the most interesting people. One night, a Naval Academy had a big celebration, and everybody came in just all decked out in white and in their uniforms and everything. And
Oh my gosh.
and I was literally like, I've never seen so many seamen in one room. It's true. Just trying not to laugh. Did you even hear what I said?
Like Top Gun moment.
Yeah. It was like a Top Gun movie. But it was awesome. No, we had a great time. Those guys partied.
Right on.
That's old Myrtle Street right there.
Oh goodness.
Oh, what a party.
Yeah. They're fun.
We had fun. Very good. Trisha Mason, thank you so much. If anybody wants to find Trisha Mason, check out this thing again. It's a milkshake app. I got to check into that. It's pretty cool. I like that. That's good. Yeah, that's my milkshake dance. Very good. Very good. Keep doing what you're doing. Always be yourself. Honestly, that's my best advice to anybody. Just be real.
That's good because I can't be anyone else.
That's good. Some people try. Some people very much try to do that, and it's faked and it's forced and it's stupid. You're better off to be
Fake news that we said.
Yeah, it's fake news. Let's not get into that. But it is. It's just, yeah. People can tell. People can tell if you're disingenuous. I'll look that word up and let you know what it means because I don't know. Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
Thank you,
very,
Ed.
very kind, and we'll catch you sometime. Thank you. See ya. Where's the damn button?
I'm falling sideways